So here I am talking about the melodic symphonies that are happening with the floral notes and the red.
I'm like,
the red
I like
fruit.
this.
And you were like, I would like to have some more of this, please.
Hello and welcome to the Worldwide Honeymoon Travel Podcast, the podcast that talks about all things couples travel, including destinations, tips, advice, and more. I'm Kat.
I'm Chris.
And this is episode number 200.
We made it.
Woo!
This is really exciting.
It is really exciting.
I know that we'll probably do a kind of like a more reflective sort of thing after, like on our podcast anniversary.
4 years.
Yeah.
That'll be our 4-year anniversary. I can't believe that this idea, I feel like a lot of my ideas, kind of started as just like a random thought of like, yeah, that'd be cool if we started a podcast. And then, or like, that'd be cool if I started a second blog about France. And then like a week later, I've already like outlined everything and I'm like, we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Do you have a, just because there's like not a ton that has gone on since we recorded the last episode, because we're recording 2 in one day here to kind of prep for the holiday season.
And yeah, this is our last recording of 2022.
Yeah.
This will go live in 2023. So happy New Year. Hope everyone had a happy holiday season.
Do you have kind of a favorite episode or a favorite series or something like that? Like one that just kind of instantly comes to mind?
We did the 2 weeks in a continent this year, didn't we? Like early this year.
Yes.
I believe. That was a lot of fun to plan and to film or to like record. I really enjoyed that one. And then also, I think talking about the Gorilla Trek and the Masai Mara they were fun to live, they were fun to record and talk about as well. What about you?
Excuse me. The 2 weeks in a continent series was something that I really enjoyed doing as well. Mm-hmm. And we did 2 similar types of series. One was like, you have 2 weeks to spend in this continent. Let's say you're never going to go back. It's once in a lifetime. How do you spend it? And there was that series. And then there was another series that we did as well, kind of based around that. And I can't quite recall what that series was.
I think it was the bucket list, like continent, like bucket list for continents.
That's what I was thinking. So
also another fun series to film, or to record.
So I was thinking about both of those, and between the two of those, I mean, we did not look at each other's notes beforehand, so it was very much a kind of like an individualized style to it. Mm-hmm. But between the bucket list destinations on the continent as well as the 2 weeks in a continent series, if you're planning any travels in 2023 or starting to kind of think about what you want to do,
head back to those.
Give all of those a listen and try to narrow it down for yourself. But yeah. Anything else you want to say before we round out our 2022 year in review series here?
Yeah. I'm very thankful. This has been our best year yet of our podcast. We've grown a lot. We wouldn't be here without you guys listening and tuning in and rating and reviewing. And I love to hear from you guys as well. Like, if you guys have feedback or things that you want to hear more about, feel free to email kat@worldwidehoneymoon.com. We can try to make some new series, or you can message us on Instagram. If there are any series that you want in the coming year, if you like the bucket list stuff, we can certainly do more of that in the coming year as well. But I'm very thankful for, our little podcast that's grown and all the people that listen and reach out, and just we're very thankful for you guys. We wouldn't be at episode 200 if nobody was listening to us.
True.
So thank you for that.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, this is our 3rd and final episode in our 2022 year in review series. Episode 198, we talked all about our stats and shout-outs, kind of a more statistical reflection of travel for us in 2022. Episode 199 was our top 5 travel experiences, as well as our top 5 travel embarrassing moments, or our most embarrassing moments of the year. Yep. And then this episode is all about our top 5 food and our top 5 drink. that we each had throughout the year.
And can I just say, we had some great food trips.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
was
Italy.
tough. Yeah.
Well, me going to France a couple times, but Italy, Philly, like lots of good food just everywhere we've been this year.
Yeah. Do you want to start with food or do you want to start with drink?
Oh yeah, a lot of great drinks too. But yeah, we can start with drinks. I have them in order, right?
So go fifth best to best?
Yes.
All right. What is your fifth best drink that you had this year?
All right. I will preface this that I think this is always the hardest episode to prepare for because there are so many good food and drinks and it's really, really hard to narrow down.
This is weird, but do you keep track of it during the year?
I started when we were in Italy and then I completely forgot to update it once we got home from Italy.
No.
So I had to spend quite a bit of time this afternoon figuring it all out. And then once the ideas kept flowing, I was like, oh my gosh. So yes, there will be honorable mentions and no, I won't hear you complain about it.
All right. I keep track of it throughout the year.
Okay. So it's really easy when you're
It's very easy for me. And then I just make sure that I look at it and I'm like, okay, did I rank that in kind of the heat of the moment, right? After that first bite and I'm like, that's number one.
Yeah. You can't have 20 number ones here.
Right. So yeah, go ahead and kick us off with your fifth best drink of 2022.
Yeah, I feel bad. There's a lot of alcohol on this list. Sometimes we have a good mix. But yeah, number 5 is Spaceship by Warwick Brewing Company, just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I think you're looking for Space Trip by
Space
Warwick.
Trip
and that is also my number 5.
By Warwick Brewing Company in Philadelphia. Very delicious.
It's not in Philadelphia.
Yeah, outside of Philadelphia. Sorry. Yeah. I went there twice. We went there our first day in Philly with some friends. Well, we went there and hung out. And then the next day, while you were getting ready, since Christopher was in our friend's wedding in Philly, I went with a bunch of your friends and family and stuff that weren't going to that weren't in the wedding. We all hung out there for the day and got pizza and just had some beers, and it's on this beautiful farmland and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really lovely. We just kind of sat outside and enjoyed the views and hung out there for a long time. But that was that's a hazy.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I love hazy beers, hazy IPA, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, really good, really juicy, really hoppy, just fantastic. But that's funny that it's both of our number 5. I actually was not expecting that one to be on yours.
I actually wrote that down. I had started that list when we were in Italy, and that was on the list. And I was like, oh yes, I remember really, really liking that.
Oh yeah, that was a fantastic beer. I think that was my favorite beer of the year.
Yes.
So very good.
Sure.
What about your number 4?
My number 4 is, and I love it, mulled wine. Mulled wine, and specifically, it was a stand in Strasbourg at the Cathedral Christmas Market that had the mugs. Okay, so the red mug this year at the Christmas market stand, some of the best mulled wine we had. My mom and I both agreed because we both got it. They had it in red and white, and they were both fantastic. Perfect amount of spice. The wine was very delicious too, but it was great to have all the different spices in their mold, and it was perfectly warm and just toasty and delicious.
Any amaretto or no amaretto?
No, it was just mulled wine. Very good.
So it was a spicier mulled wine as opposed to a sweeter mulled wine.
Yes, it had the perfect balance of cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and anise and cardamom, chef's kiss.
So good.
It was easily the best mulled wine of the trip.
Awesome.
And yeah, so I don't know if you can try to get it next year, but go to the cathedral, wherever they're selling mugs at the cathedral market in Strasbourg. That was the one that was our favorite mulled wine of the trip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My number 4 was the French press at Il Chigliani in the Masai Mara.
That was pretty delightful.
I had a lot of coffee on that trip. That was a great trip for coffee.
Well, Uganda and Kenya both have great coffee. So
yeah.
It was really hard to not enjoy it,
And I think that was my favorite coffee of the trip.
Also good tea.
Yeah, really good tea.
I made sure to try the tea because there was a lot of tea farms all over Uganda that we saw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, the French press, and really, I don't know the beans, I don't know the roast, I don't know anything like that because it just came in a nice little French press, but I had it.
It was Kenyan, though.
It was.
It was local coffee.
I had it in, I had it at breakfast. I had it while I was reading and watching some animals from the viewing deck. I had it in the evening. It was very, very good. I could not get enough of that coffee. Moving into the top 3, what was your third best?
My third best was when we were in this tiny town, I think called Gavone, or shortly near there, in Piedmont in Italy. And we stopped for a little breakfast pastry and a cappuccino at Mess Cafe.
Yep, the espresso.
You had an espresso, I got a cappuccino. Because we were just going to drink it at the bar, but I was like, you know what? I really want a cappuccino. And so we sat down and we had like a little pastry and a cappuccino, and you had an espresso, and I think that was my best coffee. I also just really...
Best coffee of the trip or best coffee of the year?
That was my best coffee of the year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I also loved, like, it was a Sunday, so there was a lot of, like, there's families and friends that had met up, and they were sitting at the cafe eating breakfast and hanging out and drinking coffee, too, so that was really fun, but it was such a good cappuccino.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had the espresso from Mess Cafe listed. And I was trying to figure out where it would fall, and unfortunately it fell outside of my top 5.
So it's an honorable mention for you.
It is an honorable mention that I choose to mention now. Honorably. My number 3 is the 2018 vintage of the Pira Barolo Marenca. This was incredible.
And what winery was that from?
Pira.
Pira, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was very, very good. That may have been one of my favorite taste. I think that was my favorite tasting in Barolo. Mm-hmm. I just really enjoyed like how interactive the tasting was and the scenery, and I mean just the view and everything. But that was an absolute killer Barolo, which we bought some bottles of to take home, and I am looking forward to cracking those open whenever the time comes.
Yeah. My number 2 for the year is when my sister and I were staying in Avignon, and we did a Chateauneuf de Pape tour.
Ooh.
And having a Chateauneuf de Pape from Brat was the winery name. Such a great winery. I loved all the wine there. I mean, all the Chateauneuf de Pape that we tried was delicious. I brought some home, so you're going to love trying that. Yeah, I tried both white and red Chateauneuf de Pape and some other wines that are grown in there, but yeah, fantastic. Some Côte de Rhônes. Great. I love all of that wine. It was so good, but the Chateauneuf de Pape specifically from Brat was definitely a favorite of mine this year. So
nice. Definitely
a good wine.
My second favorite drink was the 2011 vintage of Grasso Vallegrande Barbaresco. I mean,
I can't wait to crack those open.
I cannot either. I really enjoyed the Grasso Brothers winery. We tasted like 16 or 17 different wines or something.
Well, and then we made friends there was a big group of these friends that always travel together I think they're from Denmark.
Yes.
And they just rented a huge van, and a huge part of it was just storage for the wine that they bought. And they take wine trips around Europe together, and they drove to Italy. They went to Piedmont. They're wrapping up their trip. And we just chatted with them and had such a good time. We ended up buying bottles and drinking it there, just splitting it all around the table, which was just so much fun.
Very nice.
Such a great experience. And it was such a cozy place, too.
Yes.
Because it's ran by 2 brothers, and it's great.
It was a very fun tasting.
Yes. And good wine.
Yes. You're down to number 1. Mm-hmm. Do you want to mention your honorable mentions first and then hit your number 1?
Yes.
How many honorable mentions do we have?
3.
Okay.
I will say the coffee in Uganda, just kind of in general. That's why it's sort of an honorable mention. I mean, it's Ugandan coffee. It was very delicious. I really enjoyed it at Mahogany Springs and on Tebe, where we stayed, the Bama Hotel. They had such great coffee there that's local. And yeah, just delightful coffee. I like the tea too that I tried there as well. It's really cool when you drive past like tea fields and tea farms, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to try this. And it's really good. I would say also the Aperol Spritz at Ercole in Rome. That's where we got aperitivo our last night.
That was
fantastic. Best Aperol Spritz of the trip.
That was my best Negroni of the trip as well.
Fantastic bar with good cocktails. Best Aperol Spritz for sure. And then just the fresh squeezed orange juice like in France whenever I got that, because I get that a lot. It was always good. / also Orangina is like there's orange juice soda that is amazing. I absolutely love it. So anytime I'm like I can get it, I do. But yeah, I think the fresh squeezed orange juice is always delightful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then all of that being said, what was your best drink that you had while traveling in 2022?
I'm going to say the Barolo and I don't have all the vintages listed, but the Barolo at Stropiano Winery, which was our last winery.
So it is also my top one.
Oh, okay.
And I will say it was the 2013 vintage
Yes.
at Stropiano Barolo Buscia Reserva.
So good. Did we buy some of that?
We did.
Oh, so
this
pumped to try that. To have more of that.
As soon as I tasted it, I was like, it is going to be really, really hard to top this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it beat out Chateauneuf de Pop for me, which was rough.
Yeah, I knew there. Like, and that's the really neat thing too, is that yes, you're like in the moment, right, and you're caught up, and there's the visuals, and like this was certainly not the first wine that we had to drink that day,
No.
But when that food hits or when that drink hits or something like that, I know I'm like, this is going to be tough to top.
I was just like in Belize.
Yes.
And last year with that, oh my gosh, the beans and rice and chicken and all that. Oh my gosh. The second we tried that, we were like, well, this is our number one.
At M&L's, yeah.
Yeah.
This was that for me this year. Mm-hmm. This was my favorite wine that we tasted on that trip. In 2 days, we tasted over 40 different wines.
Guys, you got to pace yourself if you go to Piedmont for a wine tasting.
It was.
They don't just give you these tiny little pours and only like 3 or 4 of them like they do here. They give you some healthy pours and a lot of them. So you'll get pretty tipsy. So you don't need to drink it all. You can spit and you can also dump out if you don't want to drink all of it and not make it through the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but this
careful
was
there.
I mean, I just thought it was a wonderful expression of Barolo. It had now you're
so
giggling.
cute.
Well, it was. One thing that I love about Barolo is the violet that can come through. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, in my opinion, it can be like a little overpowering. Like if it's all floral, then you don't really get any of the fruit or any of the oak or anything like that. But I just thought that this played very nicely with everything. You are cracking up over there, and I'm done talking about my favorite drink now.
No, it's really cute. Christopher has his WSET level 2 certification, and he loves wine. You're currently studying for your WSET level 3s. And so, you know a lot about wine. So it's great when you kind of get off on a tangent about it and talk about violets. And I was like, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you the flavor of violet off of the top of my head.
If you were drinking it, though, and I said, do you taste the violet, you would be able to pick that out.
So it kind of tastes like it smells?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just knew that I tried it and I was like, this is delightful. I would have a lot of this. Maybe not in one sitting, but I would like to have some of this more, please. There's my wonderful expression of Barolo for you.
So here I am talking about the melodic symphonies that are happening with the floral notes and the red.
I'm like,
the red
I like
fruit.
this.
And you were like, I would like to have some more of this, please. 5 out of 5 would drink again.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I did not have any honorable mentions for drinks.
Can I just throw out one more? And the only reason why it did not make the list is because I've mentioned it like every year since like 2019, 2021. I mean, the hot chocolate, ancient hot chocolate at Les Domingos. I mean, it would definitely make the list, but I'm like, I can't just put that on every single year.
If you have it every single year, I would be curious. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Definitely go there and have the hot chocolate. It's amazing.
Right. Let me ask you this question. Look at your top 5 real quick and tell me where it would slate. If you had to just gut reaction, don't even think about it.
Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so it would bump Space Trip for you. And what are the other 2 that it would beat out?
The cappuccino at Mess Cafe and the mulled wine in Strasbourg.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Still really good, but I was like, I can't just keep adding that every year. So I will give that a shout out. Definitely go if you're going to go to Paris. Go to Les Domingos, get the ancient hot chocolate. So freaking good. It's like a melted candy bar. It's just amazing. So we did our drinks.
We did.
You've talked about your melodious symphonies of Barolo.
Yes.
You ready to talk about food?
I would love to talk about food. So
do you want to start first?
Yes, and I'll start with my honorable mention. So let's both start with honorable mentions.
All right, go for it.
I only have one listed here. How many do you have? 18.
4.
Okay. Mine is the Szechuan hot pot at Han Dynasty in Philadelphia.
The tofu dry pot?
Yes.
Yes, that's an honorable mention for me as well.
Okay.
Very good. Loved the Szechuan peppercorns. Gave that tingly, numbing feeling in your mouth. Very fantastically flavored. Our whole meal there was good, but I really enjoyed the tofu dry pot.
That I freaking love sweating while eating. I love that spicy. I love that spicy food. I love when my mouth is on fire. I love when like it's just like all of my, I don't know, everything.
Your senses are engaged.
Yeah, everything's clicking, and I'm like, bring it on. Like, let's keep burning my mouth.
I really like it when there's good flavor behind the spice and heat, and I think the tofu dry pot did a great job combining the spice and heat with really good flavor.
I think you're right. What were your other honorable mentions?
I would say this was in Vegas, the Roman-style pizza at Italy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You talked a lot about Italy.
Italy had some really good food and drinks. So, like, if you're in Vegas, just head to Italy. It's really delicious. Great wine selection, great food. There is a sit-down restaurant you can make reservations for, or you could just go to, like, the food court area and get pasta and pizza and other things. Speaking of pizza, Roman pizza in Rome at Casamanco. Really loved. We tried a bunch of different flavors. I really liked the margarita and the zucchini flour.
That was good.
With ricotta. That was super good. Or no, it was burrata.
It was burrata.
Very, very good.
Yep.
And then lastly, Soca in Nice. So that is that chickpea pancake. It's crispy chickpea pancake that you'd get bits of, and it's nice and salty and crispy and so good. So those are my honorable mentions. But what is your... do you have another?
Yes, I did forget about one more. I apologize. Mm-hmm. The other one that I did want to mention was, and I just thought of this, because this was in my top 5 for a while. Mm-hmm. It was the little raviolis, the spinach ricotta raviolis at, what was the name of that place in Alba?
Osteria dei Sagnatori.
Yes, that was it.
So good.
It was a rather small restaurant. Mm-hmm. It came highly recommended by both our host as well as our tour guide.
Who were local, yeah.
Yes, it was. I mean, it felt like you were eating in like grandma's kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. They set down a menu that was only in Italian in front of us. Handwritten.
Because that was the day.
It was, it would change every day. And our waitress was so nice. She was like, let me know if you have any questions. And we were like, well, we do.
What is all of this?
Yes. Yeah. And she walked us through everything. We had wonderful potato salad there.
I had the best asparagus in some sort of anchovy sauce that was so good.
Just everything at that restaurant was incredible.
10 out of 10.
Yes. My number 5 this year, and now that I'm kind of talking about that, I'm like, my goodness. My number 5 was a fried grouper that I had when I was in Naples on a work trip at a restaurant called Hobnob. I do not like fried fish when
it's mostly breading.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was such a light and crispy breading. It was just incredible. I also love grouper. And it was, I mean, the
grouper, I think, is easily the best fish.
Yes. Grouper, I mean, it was perfectly cooked. The breading was perfectly, I mean, it was thin. It was flavorful. It was crispy. It was delicious. That was my number 5.
All right. My number 5 was actually in Aubernay at the markets. I had, and this was unexpected, I was just kind of hungry, but not like super hungry where I wanted something hearty like tarte de flette or like cheese. So I just went up to the soup stand because, like, you know me, I'm a sucker for soup. I love a good soup. And so I saw a soup stand and I was like, oh, like they have this veggie noodle soup. That's got to be pretty good. Guys, this was the best veggie soup I have ever had in my life. Like big chunks of like delightful cauliflower. There were carrots. There were like broccoli. But when I tell you the sauce was like, I could have just like drank that. The broth, not the sauce.
I was going to say, there was sauce on the soup?
Such a rich broth, and there was herbs in it, and it was nice and salty and just delicious. And what I really loved about it is that he scooped the guy there. The pasta's cooked separate, and they keep it covered so it still stays moist, but like it's not overcooked, because a lot of the time when you put like noodles in soup, it'll get soggy. So they were like perfectly spongy and delightful. And then he put the broth and like all the soup on top of it. It was so good. Yeah.
That sounds
so
delicious.
If you go to Aubernais, the main market, I don't know, and veggie soup. I mean, really,
the only veggie noodle soup.
Look for the guys selling soup and get the veggie noodle soup. It smelled really good. It tasted amazing. Like we all tried it and we were like, holy crap, this is really good soup. Like, I don't know. Good soup.
Fair enough.
Good soup.
My number 4 was from our trip to Italy. Mm-hmm. It was during our first day of during our Barbaresco tour. Mm-hmm. And it was the cassata flavored gelato at El Rondo.
I almost put that down.
Oh my gosh, was this amazing. This, I think, was easily the best gelato. I will also say probably the best like frozen dessert I have ever had. Ice cream, what have you. This killed it. Mm-hmm. I love cassata cake. Mm-hmm. And the combination of cassata cake also being inside, or not inside of, but like the cassata flavors, cassata chunks with gelato, knocked it out of the park.
Awesome. I have a dessert for my number 4 as well.
Okay.
I love pain d'épices, which basically just means spiced bread. It is essentially gingerbread, but it's an actual loaf of bread. But they also make cookies from it, so gingerbread cookies, and they're soft and chewy and delightful at the Christmas markets in Colmar. They had a lot of stands selling pain d'épices cookies, and they had icing on it with some sprinkles, and I brought some home. So good. I just love...
These were delicious.
I love the amount of spice that they put in it. Like, you can tell when you bite into these cookies, the just amount of like the cinnamon and the cloves and the star anise, like you can just taste it all, and it's so good, and it's a soft cookie, because I do not like biscuits where they're like rock hard.
Yeah,
I love a
that.
soft, chewy cookie, and just 10 out of 10. Absolutely loved it. I am sad that we already ate all the cookies I brought home from Colmar, so I'm gonna have to learn how to make them. But pain d'épices cookies from the Colmar Christmas markets.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My number 3 is also from our trip to Philadelphia, and it is the vegan wings at Tattooed Mom.
Yes, I almost put that as an honorable mention as well, but I know you get mad when I put too many honorable mentions.
Well, I mean, come on. Like, if we're going to say, like, here's our top 5, and you're like, but I would also like to mention these 20 other things I enjoyed this year. Like,
well,
come on now.
Like, shout out,
That's
give
true.
credit where credit's due. They also had vegan ranch, which was awesome for those wings.
Yes, the vegan wings had a spicy barbecue sauce on them. Mm-hmm. And when I say spicy, like noticeable heat, which is great. It was not a sweet barbecue. Were the wings seitan?
I believe so.
Yes,
yeah.
It was not just like tofu triangles in barbecue sauce.
No, they were like chewy. They felt like eating like
a chicken wing.
A chicken wing.
So good.
So good.
So good. Tattooed Mom was also just a really cool spot.
Yeah.
If like we ate at Tattooed Mom and Han Dynasty when we were in Philadelphia, and I would highly recommend both of those places.
I also really liked the vegan Philly there too.
Yeah, that
they
was
also had
good.
they had like a regular and then a vegan menu.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah. My number 3 is, I love a good nougat. I love nougat.
That's true.
And I love, because in France you see them all the time, and they have different types. I love pistachio anything, so pistachio nougat is my favorite, but they'll have like caramel, one that's full of nuts and dried fruits and stuff, and they come in these huge wheels, and you'll see them at Christmas markets, at farmers markets, etc., and they're so good. Nougat is such a great, delightful, like egg white treat that's nice and sweet. And at the Apt Farmers Market in the Luberon Villages, there's a nice big old nougat stand. And we got to try a bunch, which was great. And then we bought a bunch of pistachio nougat, and it was delightful. Love a good nougat.
Awesome. Number 2. And now I'm wondering if our top 2 are the same.
I have a feeling our number 1 is the same, because we both ate that and we're like, that's our number 1 this year. Like, we knew when we were having
You're going to kick me then.
Okay.
That this was not in your top 5.
Okay.
It was in Bologna.
Mm-hmm.
It was at our dinner at Vicolo Colombino.
Okay.
And it was the cockerel with potatoes and truffles.
That is so good, but I have something else from that dinner. The tortellini and broth.
Oh, that
my
was
number
okay.
2.
So this was not a
So number 2 for both of us.
Same restaurant. Same meal.
That cockerel though with the truffle and the mashed potatoes, so good.
So good.
But we did start with the tortellini and broth, which is well known in that area. That's where it's from. The tortellini and the broth and everything is very famous in the Emilia-Romagna region, but also in Bologna, the capital of that region. And at first I was like, oh, this is like such a simple soup. Again, love soup. But like, I was like, oh, it's such simple. Like, is it going to be that good? No, get it. It was so freaking good at Vicolo Colombina. Very flavorful broth. Delightful, perfectly cooked tortellini. Great combination.
Yes.
And then what your number 2 was there, the cockerel, if you want to describe that.
So the cockerel was just, I mean, it was so tender.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the potatoes were perfectly like creamy, mashed. We were also eating outside. Like it was such a romantic evening. The truffles were wonderful. Like the truffle with the potato, with the cockerel. The cockerel had a sauce on it too, that had like a truffle pepper. Just amazing.
Yeah, but not too much truffle because I don't like too much truffle.
I agree. I also don't like truffle oil.
Yes.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Number 1. Was there any question that this was going to be number 1?
What is it? 3, 2, 1. The cacio e pepe at Roma Sparita.
Oh my gosh.
Number 1, easily. We were in the middle of eating it, being like, yeah, this is the one.
We were in the
middle. The carbonara there was fantastic as well, but the cacio e pepe, I wish we'd ordered more.
I could go back to Rome just to eat.
Yeah,
easily.
100%.
Easily.
Yeah, the cacio e pepe there, it's just the noodles with cacio e pepe is such a simple recipe. It's
ingredients?
Just perfect spaghetti noodles with pecorino romano
and
pepper.
Black pepper.
And you use a little bit of that pasta water, make a sauce with that, throw it in there. It is perfection. And Roma Sparita also puts it in is it a Parmesan bowl?
It is a Parmesan bowl.
Oh, crispy. Oh, just so freaking good. I mean, our whole meal was delightful. We got some mussels to split at the beginning of it. We got, I got the carbonara. Christopher got the cacio e pepe because I wanted to try something that wasn't just cacio e pepe.
We also got some burrata.
We got some burrata. Carbonara was fantastic. It was the best one I had of that trip, but the cacio e pepe, definitely really good. But they are known for that. So that's why, of course, it's popular.
Yeah. It was, so a lot of the times when we go out to eat, especially when we're traveling, we will split dishes. We'll say like, okay, like these are the 2 that we're between. I'll have half, you will have half. Mm-hmm. I had never been more upset in my life to give up half of a dish. I'm
upset that that's what you got. I kind of almost wish we'd each ordered a cacio e pepe and then just got the carbonara too on the side.
Oh my gosh.
It was our last night. Like,
fair enough.
I mean, I will say like, such good food in Italy. I did not have a bad meal.
Agreed.
And we had such a good food and drink year, like both with wines, and just, I mean, you can't beat Italy and France. Italy and France are all my food, like my top 5 foods, in this year. So anything else you want to mention? I don't think so. I think we've covered the best meals and best drinks of 2022. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for 200 episodes and for being along this journey for 2022 and beyond, hopefully. But yeah, let us know your favorite food and drinks from this year. What are the meals that you were just sad were over? You can always reach out to us on Twitter, WWHoneymoon, Instagram at Worldwide Honeymoon, or email kat@worldwidehoneymoon.com. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate and review our podcast. It takes less than a few minutes and really helps other people find us. Also, if you're enjoying this awesome free information on both the blog and podcast, when you're booking your next trip, head over to worldwidehoneymoon.com/resources and use the links provided. We earn a small commission at no cost to you when you book through these links, and these are all brands and companies we know, love, and use, like Skyscanner for finding the best flight prices, World Nomads for the best travel insurance, TripAdvisor for hotel bookings and reviews, and even Amazon for all of your travel purchases. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Wherever you are, wherever you go, remember to make every day a worldwide honeymoon.